e re tonu nei ngā mihi o te wā kia tātou. Timata i tētahi tongi, kōkiri ana te whetū i te rangi, kōkiri ana te marama i te pō, tākiri mai ko te ata ka awatea. Ka tū ka oho, aruwā te tāe paipatanga o te rangi, aruwā kia tata whakamaua kia tīna, hui e, tae ki e. Muriore e te whare. Tōku whare e tū nei a tūranga, nuo kua no i tapa, i ngā hononga o tō tātou nei, whakatātai whakapapa kia paikea kia paraurangi, ko whitireia kai waho, ko tūranga kai runga, me mihi kātika kia tātou. Ia ko rauranga tira mā, rātou kua whetūrangitia, rātou kua tanumi ki te pō, te rā kua tau anō te kapua pauri, kia wheke, kia tuahuriri, me ngā tātai. Ki te hunga, kua namu ki te pō, haere, hanatura. Kia tātou kua hui nei, mauri ora i te whare. Started off with a little tongi, pretty much to calm myself down. I'm hella nervous. Not accustomed to public speaking, which a lot of those ones who know me actually know that's lies. Not usually public speaking in this arena. I'm an orator. Grew up on the marae and do it in Māori. On the marae, easy. Can do that. But tonight I'm here to talk about fulfilling the role of tangata tiriti, being a good treaty partner. Yes, it's a difficult one. Suffice to say, main people who know that role, fulfilling the role of tangata tiriti, are the ones sitting in front of me now. Network Waitangi, or Tautahi, all those people who have done that and have become good tangata tiriti to allow tangata whenua to have their say. Aku mihi kia koutou. So, ironically enough, I'm here speaking tonight. This time last week, I resigned from that position. Yeah. However, I've been there for 5 years, so I've got some stuff to say. So this role here, is the Ngai Tahu Maori Relationships team were actually discussed about 15 years ago at Christchurch City Council. And it was done with the previous mayor as well, the mayor, Leanne Dalziel. She actually had a conversation with Dame Kath Tizard, who was the Governor General at the time. And Kath Tizard said, where are your treaty negotiations people? Where are your Ngai Tahu reps and council? We have it at central government, why don't you have it here? And Leanne couldn't answer that properly. So what she ended up doing was she created not just the positions in the operational level, but she also created a standing committee at Christchurch City Council called Te Hononga. And Te Hononga is a standing committee, but it is partnership. It's set up as partnership, not just to have a Māori seat at the table, but it's done as true partners. If we remove the word there, treaty, and just have being a good partner, in order to be a good partner, you got to have connection, you got to have similarities, got to have interests. And Christchurch City Council governance, including the mayor, saw that when they spoke to many of our Ngai Tahu whānau. And so a committee was created to be able to talk about the shared interests. And the shared interests we have as Ngai Tahu are our land and water, the people in our takiwā, and our whānau. They were the main three. So that was set up and discussed about many years ago. Then ironically enough, we had a little thing called an earthquake. Don't know if you know about that. Yeah, so what that allowed to happen was that central government were able to discuss, based on relationships they had, with Ngai Tahu parties. And Christchurch City Council carried on with that relationship at a local governance level. Now, the mayor really dislikes it when I quote her, but I've been doing it for 5 years. She's not going to mind now. She says, that Te Tiriti o Waitangi is a relationship between Crown and Māori, which it is. It's a relationship and a partnership between Crown and Māori. At a local level, we don't have a Treaty of Waitangi. We have Te Hononga. And this is a relationship between local representatives of the Crown and local Māori. Local Māori in this area is Ngai Tahu. I'm not disrespecting any of my mātā waka whānau. This is just our takiwa. And what we're wanting to do as Ngai Tahu, so I'm flipping on my Ngai Tahu head as well, is the tikanga that we want to, is our tikanga here. And a great one from us is more, I don't go to Rotorua and tell te aroa, aku mihi kia te aroa, waka, ngā mihi kia koutou. Pay respects where I need to. I don't go to te aroa and tell them how to do a Ngai Tahu way. I don't go up to Tūhoi, which I can, because I'm Tūhoi as well. But I don't go to Tūhoi and tell them how to do, this is what we do in Christchurch, you must do the same. And I know many of our whānau feel the same way when they come to o Tautahi. So there is respect and relationships there. So anyway, 5 years ago, they discussed it, created a committee. That committee actually is that partnership at a local level. And what it does, it allows our Ngai Tahu whānau to have a robust conversation with council governance. It is led by our upoko, who is Dr. Te Maire Tau, and he's the upoko of Tuahiwi, and that's shared partnership with the mayor. So it's co-chaired as well. It's representatives of our 6 Ngai Tahu marae in Christchurch, an equivalent amount of governance at Christchurch City Council. So it's 6 and 6. That's partnership. And they discuss their interests, shared interests. A great shared interest is what you're sitting in tonight. This is Tautoru. We know it in English as a TSB arena, as we've named it Tautoru. The building you're in, which I like to say I named. I did, I don't like to just say it, I named it. That's another story. And I've got 8 minutes. So that story goes, no. But Tūranga is the name and was built in partnership. Christchurch City Council staff and our Ngai Tahu whānau. We had artists who knew our story. All the artwork you see here was done in partnership. And for those ones who go, but the carving and the whakairo pattern is of Paikea from Ngāti Porou. Yes, it is. And if you knew our story, you'll understand why. You want to know the story? Okay, it goes like this. For those people who have not watched Whale Rider, it's a really good movie, but it's based on a book, and that book is based on genealogy. So Whale Rider is based on a atua, a deity, or a tipuna called Paikea. Paikea rode over and landed in a place called Tūranga. And one of his whare that he built was called Whitireia. That will explain that very soon. So he had children, many children. One of them, in the oldest line, was called Whatiwa Te Ramarama. Whatiwa Te Ramarama had a younger brother called Tahu Pōtiki. Now we're getting a connection here. Whatiwa Te Ramarama had a son called Poraurangi. So here's the connection we have here. Our whakapapa as Ngai Tahu is connected to our whakapapa as Ngāti Porou, East Coast. Now, here's the argument that Ngai Tahu whānau and Ngāti Porou whānau have, and it's so cool. I love stories. This one here goes like this. Ngai Tahu love to say that they are the uncle of Poraurangi, and it's true. My version is they grew up similar to, like brothers. That's why we say Poraurangi is the older brother of Tahu Pōtiki. But it's because of his whakapapa line. He was the older line. He is the elder line. We pay homage to that. So both versions are correct. Now, that's a flip side in regards to what I'm going to bring up soon. As whakapapa comes down, a lot of people get the story mixed up. And then when we start getting the story mixed up, we have interpretation and we feel like we need our story as more important than yours. Both stories are correct. Let's just carry on now. So tūranga, whitireia, the whakaaro outside, Paikea, is our Ngai Tahu connection to our East Coast whānau. Because our East Coast whānau, we come from the same tipuna. For us as Māori, that's important. Because to know who you are and who your ancestors are gives you grounding for today. And that's important. Now, in order to be a good treaty partner, it's about organizations meeting together. It's about managers meeting together. It's about workers meeting together. And believe it or not, it's about people not doing this, but having more of this. And that's what being a good treaty partner is. And it's about talking as people first. What similarities do we have here? What are our differences? And how can we work together to ensure the common parts flourish, and then the different parts we can still work on as individuals? We're just doing that as Ngai Tahu and in my role at Christchurch City Council. So for 5 years, until 3 weeks' time, by the way, there's a position going on for a senior advisor. So 5 years ago, I was asked to support with a few of the strategies. I utilised the values I was taught as a kid. I grew up in Christchurch, believe it or not. There's a place called Ngā Hauewha. I grew up on that little marae. On my grandfather's side, as I said before, I'm Tūhoi. On my grandmother's side, I whakapapa to the 6 marae here in Christchurch. So it's real easy for me to just go, Auntie, can I come in? Now here's how important it is for us to be humble. And I love this one. It makes me look really bad, but welcome to my world. When I first got the job 5 years ago, applied for the job, didn't think I'll get it. I was actually teaching. I've been teaching for about nearly 20 years. And I was teaching people. You're all thinking of subject matter, eh? We don't think about subject as Māori. I was teaching Māori and Māori performing arts. But I was actually working with that lady sitting in front here, Dora Langsbury. Haere mata. And Cynthia at the back at Rangiora High School. Kia ora wha. Anyway. Oh yeah, I'm all about connections. If I know you, I'll see you and I'll point to you. Anyway. So we got the role and I was asked to help pen and help with the strategy that we now know as the multicultural strategy. So I tweaked the Māori part. I had to. And there was many reasons why. And for me, the main thing that you see, and I love it, is ngā pou haumaru. Ngā pou haumaru represents the partnership that Council has with Ngai Tahu to build a shelter for all people to be part of. Once again, I talked about the interests, the environment, the land, the water, the people. It goes back to a lot of our history. And the story I say is, we were here, Ngai Tahu were here, well before that church was built, well before the 4 ships came. We actually had a power site where the town hall is, Victoria Square. I love this one. Victoria Square, before it was called Victoria Square, it was called Market Square. Before it was called Market Square, who knows what it was called? Puari Pā. Puari Pā stemmed from where the casino was in the town hall, and it was a village. It wasn't a built-up marae like we see nowadays. We just got real good funds now that we can build the flash marae. But back then, they were just cottages. And Puari Pā stemmed from Victoria Square, and it stemmed to Te Hononga, where our building is, the civic building is. That's how big that village was. Here, whitireia was our altar. When we were colonized, my ancestors were colonized, the first 4 ships came. They saw our spiritual place and they decided to build theirs. Nothing's wrong with that. Then, what we see now is that the story is now being retold. I grew up in this city without any of our stories. I'll give you another story that makes sense for us. And I've got 30 seconds. So, corner of Kilmore Street and Manchester Street, there used to be the church. Who remembers, what's the name of the church? St. Luke's. Tēnā koe roi mata. Around that area was another pa site of ours. That pa site was called Tautahi. Yes, that's where the name O Tautahi comes from. Yes. Tautahi was the chief. His village was over that side. Now, Tautahi was important for us in our whakapapa. Tautahi was hard out tuahiwi. I'm being recorded here, so I've got to be really nice. Yeah. Tēnā koe. And from Port Levy, Huikai. Strong whakapapa links to Huikai. My phone's telling me time's up. Yes, that's enough. Go away now. Excuse me. Kia ora. So, it's only a phone. Oh my gosh. You can get another one. Insurance. That's why we have the system. And so, Tautahi Pa was there, and then Tautahi was actually buried where that St. Luke's church got built on. So those are the stories we're bringing back. Because of we got a good treaty partner with the council, we're able to establish our Ngai Tahu story for future generations. Our goal is now the same. Our Ngai Tahu goal, the goal of our marae, the goal of Christchurch City Council, one of the goals, the water, the environment, and the people. Now that came into fruition 2 years ago. To my Muslim brethren, Assalamu alaikum. To be part of my response team to support you guys in your dire need. That's when council pulled out that multicultural strategy and said, this is what we got, we're going to lead it. Tēnā koutou, my advisory group. So where's this future going to take us? We don't know. But now we, as Ngai Tahu, are at the table. It's not about us. It's not about Ngai Tahu wanting to take something. We don't live in that westernized model of thinking. From the way I grew up by my aunties and uncles, we do it for the people. And there's a whakatauki from Pita Te Hori, our first upoko. And I love it when it's etched outside Te Pai. Just before the bridge, it's got ata whai ki te iwi. Aroha ki te tangata, kia ata whai ki te iwi. Show compassion to all people and care for them as well. So as long as I breathe and I'm in a position that I can give influence, I will be here as a good treaty partner. Aku mihi kia koutou katoa. My phone's been dinging for 2 minutes. And apparently we're going to do some Q&A. So yeah. And by the other way, I was away, not just smoozing ScoMo. It was Jacinda Ardern as well. She knows me as the cheeky Māori fella, but that's another story. Tēnā koutou katoa, aku mihi kia koutou. A tātai whakapapa, a waka, a iwi, a horongu. Tērā kia tātou e hau mai nei ki tēnei whenua haumako e kia nei a o Tautahi ki ngā pā ki hi whakatekateka o Waitaha. Tuana nei, he uri a Maui pōtiki, he uri a Tohu pōtiki, he uri a Tūhoi pōtiki, ko te pōtiki e tū nei, tēnā koutou, Pō Māori e kia tātou katoa. Thank you very much for letting me talk and spiel for 20 minutes. Tēnā koutou.